If not knowing how to read the room was a person, Harrison Floyd would be the perfect example of that. Now, when I first came across this, I was sitting here saying to myself, Harrison Floyd. I almost said Harrison Ford because I thought that's what it said. But then when I looked at the name, I said, I'm not too familiar with who this person is. But then I looked at the title and I said, this should be interesting. This was a Triple P waiting to happen. And then when I looked at the man's picture, I said, wait a minute. Why does this guy look so familiar now? Because sometimes you may not remember a name, but you can definitely put a face. And then I said, let me go ahead and do a little bit more digging. And sure enough, I ended up finding this. So y'all may or may not remember this, but this was the same guy. And he would stick out like a sore thumb because he was one of the few black people that was involved with the whole Trump situation a few months ago, and he ended up getting denied his appeal, as you can see right here from the screenshot that came from May 8, 2024. It said court denies Harrison Floyd's appeal in Trump election interference cases. And I find it very interesting because it was a couple of other black people that was there too, and they were denied as well. So you can tell that this guy doesn't know how to read the room at all. And it shows in this situation that he has going on right now with Marjorie Taylor Greene. But back to this. So it came out that he came out and he said that Marjorie Taylor Greene had apparently used or called him the N-word. He says Harrison Floyd alleged a Georgia GOP executive member heard Greene use the slur against him. My thing is this: are you really surprised that she called you that word? I wouldn't be surprised that this woman says this every single day, even when she's in private. You heard how she is in public, even on the Senate floor. We've heard how she is. This is the same woman that called Lauren Boebert a B word and threatened her with physical violence. I mean, come on now. Like, are you really surprised by anything that this woman who is 50 does? I'm telling you, that's why I say age doesn't define maturity, but apparently some people have to learn the hard way. But what's more interesting about this is the details. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the article, but I'm gonna also implement some of the screenshots that I got, and it just shows you right off the bat that people like Harrison Floyd or a lot of these black conservatives that myself and many people in the new black media talk about all the time just don't get it. They don't know how to read the room. They just step into that lion's den and thinking that they won't get bitten or they won't get mauled. On September 12th, former Black Voices for Trump director Harrison Floyd alleged that Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene called him the N-word in private. Floyd was responding to Greene's takedown of far-right activist Laura Looney, or what y'all call Laura Loomer, who posted anti-Indian comments about Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris. Despite her own history of inflammatory rhetoric, Greene called Loomer's comments extremely racist and said they do not represent MAGA Republicans or President Trump. This is how you know this is a bunch of infighting going on right here, because this is pot me kettle moment. You mean to tell me Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to tell someone else to not be racist? Keep in mind, Laura Loomer is anti-black herself. And it's crazy because you have this Harrison Floyd dude who is black literally throwing the cape on for another anti-black person. But because she said something anti-Indian in reference to Kamala Harris, it's all fine. Like, I can't make this stuff up. Like I said, wait till I get to these screenshots and you'll see exactly what I mean. He said Marjorie Taylor Greene has no room to call anyone a racist or talk about what the MAGA community stands for when she refers to me as N-word in private, Floyd wrote on X. She has never publicly supported me and tried to save her own skin. Our country has many serious issues, yet anytime Marjorie Taylor Greene is in the spotlight, it's always an issue of race or racism. We can't trust racist RINOs or Republicans in name only to do the right thing. We can do better. So this is actually the full screenshot right here, but it was some more that he didn't have in it because the article only quotes a certain part of it. But let me read to you the beginning and the ending. He said, at Laura Loomer was one of the first people to notice I was the only co-defendant that didn't come out of Fulton County Jail and called a flight risk for no reason. She personally reached out to my wife for support and helped raise awareness for my defense fund, now over $300K. If Laura is racist, she is bad it. I'm guessing he was supposed to say bad at it. but then he ends it off at the very bottom, says hashtag Team Loomer. And I'm like, how do you not know about this woman's history? This woman has said a lot of anti-black stuff, but because she reached out to you personally, apparently that means she's not, well, not to you personally, she says she reached out to your wife, who I heard through the grapevine is a PC woman, so there's that. The article goes on to read and saying he then criticized her for not advocating for him while he was a co-defendant in the Donald Trump Georgia election fraud case. The screenshot reads, Representative MTG or Marjorie Taylor Greene had no problem rushing to support This is Kyle R. or Kyle Rittenhouse. Yet she has not said or done anything about my constitutional and civil rights being denied, being the only co-defendant thrown into Fulton County Jail, or Fonnie Willis trying to falsely revoke my bond in Georgia. Ask her why and what you told the campaign in quote-unquote private. Do you want to tell them, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or should I help? It starts with, quote, don't say anything because he is black, and then it's a bunch of dots and it's ending the quote. I'm like, dude, do you really think she cares about you? Really, you're whining. He's whining right now. I can't stand somebody who whines like this. Again, this dude does not read the room. And my thing is this: how did you not know how this woman is? Like, did you really think she was going to help you? See, this is the thing that these black conservatives, especially the ones that go around installing themselves as MAGA this and MAGA that. You are only there to do a job, and that is to buck dance and try to quote unquote get us in line, even though y'all do a bad job at it. When you start doing all this extra stuff, they're going to tell you about yourselves and they're going to get you in check. And if you don't want to get in line, they'll find a way to do it. And my thing is, how could you not know how this woman is? I was reading a post pertaining to this, actually the one I found about it. Someone, in so many words, the person who posted it said, and what am I supposed to do with this? And I'm gonna say the same thing. What in the world am I supposed to do with this except just laugh and clown you? Because you had to have, it's sad that you don't understand how Dub S works. What did they say? If you don't understand white supremacy, everything is going to confuse you. This guy, Harrison Floyd, is in a state of confusion right now. I don't know what he's going to do to be able to get out of it, but he continues on. He continues on by saying, I beg your pardon, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Given the things you said about me in private, you have no room to call Laura Loomer or anyone else racist. My thing is, why are they each, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Laura Loomer are both very anti-black. That, like, we know their history. We've seen what they said. The fact that this guy is throwing on the cape for Laura Loomer, even though we know the stuff she has said, but because apparently she reached out to your wife for something about, helping you out, that doesn't make her that way. That's another thing. They think that if they are the friend, the black friend or the token, then that means there's no anti-blackness in the world. This guy is lost in the sauce. It goes on to say, if you want to talk about racist Republicans instead of improving election integrity in Georgia, we can do it. Let's start with you. Well, the person that you're bigging up and throwing the cape on for, she's very anti-black herself. I'm not, it's not computing for me, y'all. It's really not. Man, this is a special case right here. This is a special case right here for y'all to really examine and study. I bet when many of y'all came into this video, y'all had no idea who this dude was. Probably don't even care. Y'all are probably having a good old laugh in the chat, and I'm glad I'm laughing right along with you. I'm chuckling right now. Ha ha ha. It is what it is. I don't feel bad for this dude, but he has some more to say. Let's get started. And I believe this right here is the last screenshot. Thank God. He says, it goes on to say, Floyd asked for her to apologize. He said, you might be able to hide from the people of Georgia 14 in your DC office, but I live here, Representative Greene. He says, retract and apologize for your own racist and sensitive comments now, or I will come to the Hill for it in person. Let me know if I need to get another member up to escort me to the House floor or cloakroom. This dude, like I said, lost in the sauce. What can you do? This is exactly why I cape for none of them. You see this right here? You see, this guy went on a whole menstrual rant with this woman who he had to have known was anti-black, and only to throw on the cape for another woman who's anti-black because apparently she did something for him via his wife. We are living in the upside down, and I'm not even referring to Stranger Things. This is absolutely ridiculous, to say the least. I mean, it's funny to us because it's like we know we can see the forest from the trees, but apparently this grown man does not understand his positioning in this world. Like I said, like our master teachers have told us, if you do not understand white supremacy, everything will confuse you. This is why he is talking the way that he is, and he thinks people actually give a damn. I'm here to tell you now, Harrison Floyd, outside of the little echo chamber that you do have, or the ones that don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, are the only ones listening to you. November 5th is right around the corner, and honestly, with the stuff that he's already gone through already, I think November 5th has already come for him and gone. He just hasn't realized or got the memo yet. Let me finish off the rest of this article. It says Floyd is a Republican advocate who has worked to increase the share of black voters who support Trump. I gotta ask people out there, for black people out there who do support Trump, have you ever heard of this dude before? I'm almost guaranteeing many of you probably have not. He helped with Trump's campaign in the 2020 presidential election and led the advocacy organization Black Voices for Trump, which spearheaded much of the efforts. He was a named defendant in the Trump election fraud case and was among over a dozen other individuals who were charged with violating Georgia's RICO Act against racketeering. So that's really his claim to fame right there, is he's basically a 45 lackey who got caught up doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing. And now he's trying to put himself back out there by saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene called him the N-word. And the sky is blue, the sun is hot, and water is wet. I say that because who's really surprised that Marjorie Taylor Greene called you that word? I'm not even gonna say allegedly, because I actually believe that she probably did call him that word. Like I said, we've heard this woman in her rhetoric and how slick and reckless she is with her mouth in the past. The only one that's surprised and shocked by this is Harrison Floyd. He's the one making a very big deal about this, and because of his mindset, no one cares. No one really cares. He can put all of this stuff online that he wants to, but I doubt that this man is actually going to go and see her in person. Really what it is he put it out there so he can have his echo chamber kind of respond to it kind of on his behalf. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't care at the end of the day, but I thought it was kind of funny to bring this to y'all attention because I know y'all are going to clown this fool in the comments. And I can't wait to see what y'all got to say. One thing I forgot to mention in the initial part of the commentary that I had to add in maybe a day or two after I was done recording it is I wonder if Harrison Floyd did the same thing a lot of black conservatives tend to do, and that was ignore the conversation about race and racism and anti-blackness in the establishment up until the time when it fell onto them. That's something that I notice a lot of black conservatives tend to do because they typically are the echo chamber or one of the pieces of the echo chamber when it comes to the issues of race and saying how to, ignore it, or it doesn't exist, or it's not real, it's all in our head. But then the minute it falls upon them, then they want to cry foul and cry wolf, much like he did just recently when it came to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then on the same spectrum, defend an anti-black individual such as Laura Loomer, and then still want to kind of get sympathy from the people like we give a damn what he thinks. That's another issue that I have with these black conservatives, is because of that major part right there. So I'm willing to bet Harrison Floyd was probably in that same boat just like the rest of them, but then when it hits him, then that's when he wants to say, oh, she called me the N-word, oh, she said this, oh, I'm gonna call you out, and this, that, and the third. Dude, no one cares. Really, absolutely, positively no one cares. Like I said earlier, many people up into this video had no clue who this guy was. And even after this video, they still won't know who he is, nor will they care about anything that happens with him or to him when it's said and done.